Hi, I'm Mike Gambardella, and you're with us here on Pat's Latest. It's not just the NBA that's got trades coming in left and right, as several NFL stars have announced that they will no longer be with the teams that they've made a name with, and the Patriots continue to have the spotlight put on them. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe for our channel, get in the comments, and let us know what we need to talk about next, and shoot us a few likes on today's video, and go back and watch our previous episodes. We quickly jump in with Myles Garrett officially on the trade block. We had reported earlier that the Cleveland Browns announced that no matter what, was the quote that came from them, they would not trade Myles Garrett. Garrett has now forced their hand. He announced on social media that he has told the Browns he has officially requested a trade, and that means he is going to have a new home when the new league year starts up. This is not the first time we've seen a major NFL star force the hand of a team that has the rights to them and is under contract, but when that team underperforms, and it's the Browns, so unfortunately that's where you're at, they're going to have to do something and potentially have to hit the reset button, and Kevin Stefanski is going to have a very difficult path ahead of him. Looking at what this means for the rest of the league, the Patriots shouldn't be an option because Myles Garrett wants to play for a contender. On the surface, that makes sense, but if you go a little bit deeper, potentially the Patriots aren't completely out. Betting odds right now have them 10th best at 16-1, tied with the Miami Dolphins. So not at the bottom of the list. And the big reason for that is quarterback moves the needle in the NFL. The Washington Commanders are now the way that the Patriots can get to being a contender, and putting Myles Garrett on the defensive side of the ball would easily help that. A comparable option is a couple years ago when Khalil Mack, at 27 years old, announced that he would be traded from the then Oakland Raiders. Myles Garrett at 29, a freak of nature, probably matches up well. The Bears gave up 2 first-round picks, a third-round pick, and a sixth-round pick. Looking at it, a second-round pick and potentially a conditional fifth-round pick added to that, that's a lot to give up. So the Patriots would have to give up a lot for that, and maybe starting the conversation with the number 4 pick. I'm not sure that's something Elliott Wolf is quite ready to do, but you can never say never. Again, it would completely reboot the franchise and put it on the map, but there's going to have to be a lot of questions around, is this the right move for the franchise? And if you have to make a call right now, I would say no. There are other options out there, and yes, you are now passing on potentially the best defensive player on the planet, but right now I do not think the Patriots are set up to bring on that type of player in this scenario, with a lot of other needs still have to be met for the 53-man roster. One other one that we talked about, and again, Luka Doncic, De'Aaron Fox going in the NBA. Now you got Myles Garrett, Cooper Kupp back on the trade block. We talked about that it could be a possibility the first time it came up, and now it is official. Cooper Kupp also going on social media and a little bit different, announcing that the Los Angeles Rams have told him that they are putting him on the trade block and will work to find him a suitable team. It's a little bit alarming, to be perfectly honest, but when you go a little bit further down into it, with Puka Nacua suddenly becoming one of the top 5 wide receivers in the NFL right now, other players stepping up as well, it makes Cooper Kupp expendable to an extent. The $20 million contract, a large factor, obviously, and whatever team acquires him would be on the hook for that, as well as his salary in 2026, which is quite similar, unless that salary is renegotiated, which could happen depending upon the deal that is put in place. Additionally, for the Patriots, as we mentioned the first time, and please go back and listen to that episode as well, Patriots wide receiver is again sounding off on social media and saying Cooper Kupp Take note, Kendrick Bourne is back at it again, and this time the quote is, "I ain't no GM or nothing, but I can promise anyone this money is going to be worth it," in regards to potentially having to renegotiate for it. Cooper Kupp, a phenomenal athlete. Again, he will be 31, 32 years old, but someone with short hands, excellent route running, can play out of the slot or anywhere. Sound a little familiar for a Josh McDaniels weapon and a potential security blanket for Drake May. Having someone that he knows he has underneath and always there for him would be a great development tool for a second year quarterback. All due respect to Hunter Henry, who has done that especially well for him in year one, but to be able to actually have a wide receiving option to do that would be a true value add for the Patriots. Now, this is one that I think could actually come to fruition. Kupp himself, a former third round pick. Does it need to be a second? That's looking where it has been with the Devontae Adams trades, uh, with Amari Cooper and other guys of that ilk. That's probably where it's going to be. Could you go with a 3 and a 5, potentially an additional player? There is a path forward for this. This could develop fairly quickly, especially after this Sunday Super Bowl. And don't be surprised if a deal is done sooner rather than later, and one again that could provide a true security blanket for Drake May and something that could again jumpstart the chances for the Patriots to have true success in 2025. Looking at 2025, there's another NFL draft update, and those will continue to flood in. It is now becoming consensus that there are a top two player, 1A, 1B, however you want to put them, in this draft, and neither of them are quarterbacks. Abdul Carter, the defensive end from Penn State, and the do it all Heisman winner from Colorado, Travis Hunter, are the top two players in this draft. However, you want to slice it or rank them, and I think it could even come down to team need, that's how it will be. That said, quarterbacks always move the needle. So Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders will be factors at 3 and 4. That means the Patriots potentially will have a decision to make in front of them. Should the top two players go in front in those 1 and 2 picks, and Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders goes at 3 to the New York Giants, the Patriots would be on the clock with a top quarterback available. The latest mock draft put out by ESPN Matt Miller has them addressing the defensive line instead of addressing what they could do with a quarterback prospect on the board. Mason Graham from Michigan is the selection, a disruptor for sure, but not quite sure if he's the 4th overall best pick in this draft. So reaching potentially for someone at that juncture might not be the route to go. Getting the potentially Las Vegas Raiders on the phone and say, hey, are you interested in Cam Ward? That might be the way to go. If you can get their first round pick, their second round pick, a potential first rounder next year, find out what other options. Could you bring Jacoby Myers back? There are a lot of things on the table in a scenario such as that. Looking back at what Matt Miller predicts, he went defensive line with Michigan and went back to it again in that second round. Ohio State defensive end Jack Sawyer, who is an absolute disruptor from the defensive end position, as well as a true leader for the national champion Buckeyes. Players that you'd love to see the Patriots associated with, but want to take it a step further to make sure that Elliott Wolf in the front office is going to maximize what they are able to do in this draft overall and set up for the future next year. If you're able to go back a little bit, and if guys like Will Johnson from another Michigan Wolverine shore up the defensive backfield to pair another lockdown cornerback with Christian Gonzalez. Do you want to go back even further and get Tet McMillan and have a dynamic receiving option for Drake May? Again, a lot of the draft stuff will depend on what the Patriots do in free agency. We're going to continue to mention T. Higgins and Chris Godwin and Slayton and Hollywood Brown and all of these top wide receiving options, as well as the offensive line options. A lot of what the Patriots will do at the NFL draft will become clear after seeing what they do in free agency. That won't stop us from speculating on what will happen leading up to that, but a lot of moving parts. And again, Patriots seeming to be in a very good spot here at number 4 in the NFL draft. Prior to the NFL draft, the Super Bowl taking place this Sunday, as Roger Goodell often does, gives his Super Bowl address. He did it on the Monday of Super Bowl media week, right before all the festivities on Monday night, addressing several different topics in a invite only. It was not fully open to the media, so it had to be on that invite list, but a couple interesting tidbits to take away from it. The big hot button issue is, when will an 18-game season actually be a factor? And again, to go that route, we would have to see another bye added in for all the NFL teams. The quote from Goodell: "We haven't had any formal discussion on an extension." So that means don't expect another game to be added to the schedule next year, probably in 2026 and 2027 at the earliest, where something like that could come to fruition. That said, should NFL owners really start to discuss this offseason, could they hit fast forward? Sure, but I think we're a few seasons away from seeing that extra game and extra bye added into the schedule for NFL teams. Additionally, he went on to say that flopping is not considered a significant issue for NFL and NFL teams right now. I know that's been hot button for fans watching Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and others trying to take advantage of some of the rules that have really hamstrung defensive players, to be perfectly honest, and really accentuate offense in the NFL. It is there. Roger Goodell says it's not quite to the level that they need to do anything quite yet. He did say, however, that more plays could be eligible for replay assists, which is something that I think is very welcome, as long as it's not adding 15 minutes to NFL games. Those such as face masks will probably be a point of emphasis to look at for the NFL replay crews. There is hope to get to 16 international games per season, so don't be surprised to see the Patriots and other teams traveling worldwide to take on and be featured in those matchups. And he also mentioned that technology will eventually be there to digitally measure first down. So again, the chain gang, a true and tried part of NFL lore of the game itself, but to make sure that they could actually place the ball where it is on the field and remove some of that error where it's, again, not impacting the integrity of the game. If they can buzz down and quickly get it where it needs to be because of that digital measuring system, could be a good add for NFL games and continuing to move along with it. That'll do it for us here on the latest episode of Pat's Latest. Again, be sure to subscribe to our channel, get in the comments, let us know what you think about potential NFL rule changes, where the big stars in the NFL might end up, if they're going to be in New England, who we should go after in free agency, and who you want to see the Pats take in the NFL draft. Go back and watch our past episodes, and be sure to join us on the next one. Fight on, Foxborough.